What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Daily Refinement. Thank you for joining me. I earn a full-time living selling physical products online that I actually have in stock. And today is an awesome opportunity to talk to some people who do drop shipping or run some drop shipping software. I'm super excited because I get a lot of questions asking, can I start eBay without using my own inventory? It seems like there's a lot of stuff out there, but I don't know where to get started. Is drop shipping a scam? All these questions. So I'm glad I have real people here to answer those questions. And I also have my good friend Jack to help me introduce these guys. And then we'll get into some of the more common questions, and we'll try to cover as much about drop shipping as we can in this short amount of time. Thanks, Jack, for putting this together. How's it going? And why don't we start with you introducing yourself?
Oh, awesome. All right. My name's Jack Pittman, and I make YouTube videos, and I don't actually drop ship anymore, but I used to do a lot of content about drop shipping. Something that's always been super fascinating to me is that eBay physical resale and drop shipping are almost separate worlds. Like, the people who drop ship typically don't physically sell, and the people who physically sell typically don't drop ship, which seems kind of weird because they're both using eBay, the same platform, dealing with customer service, dealing with almost all the same problems, but completely separated groups of people, right? So one of my kind of goals has been to talk a lot about drop shipping and to get people to encourage them to talk about the ways that they use drop shipping. And drop shipping is a super controversial topic in some ways. So this has been very interesting for me. So I reached out after Chris asked to find some people who would be in a position where they can talk about their drop shipping experiences. And I reached out to 3 individuals, Miguel, Lior, and Kafir. Each of these individuals runs a dropshipping software company. So they're in a position where they see tons and tons of different accounts, lots of information, really informed people. So I'm really excited for this call for that reason. So Lior, you're unmuted. So I guess you're the one who's going to introduce yourself first. What's up?
Cool. Hey, Jack. Hey, Chris. How are you? So, we have time? Yeah, we have time. Okay, so my name is Lior Pozin. I'm from Israel. I'm owner of AutoDS. I do dropshipping for around 10 years, and I'm a developer for around 11 years. I started AutoDS for my own needs because I had some dropshipping stores, so I decided to automate all this stuff. And then we saw in some conferences here in Israel that people really need this tool because there wasn't any tools for this time, only some tools for very big sellers or for very small sellers. So this is how today started. This is about me. For now, I'm actually doing dropshipping to stay with the market, like to know all of the new stuff which is going on with the dropshipping, and to check strategies on our own stores in AutoDS. So this way we can really bring these strategies to the users of AutoDS and to other dropshippers. That's all.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you. So for those of you guys listening, I've worked with all 3 of these individuals and done interviews and called them. So I know them decently well. And there's reasons that I'm happy to bring them into this call. So what about you, Miguel? What do you do?
Hello, my name is Miguel Pieras. I'm from Spain, and I heard about dropshipping a few years ago, and I found it really interesting, the fact that you could sell products you didn't physically have. So I started, as Leroy mentioned as well, creating my own store and testing different strategies, and I found that I was really making money selling those products. The only problem was that I spent a lot of time in front of the computer trying to manage the store and the different aspects of the business because everything was very manual. And since I'm a software developer as well, I decided to create my own tool. And this is how I started with Hustle Got Real, which is a dropshipping software that we offer any person to sell products via dropshipping. And well, we've been, as Jack mentioned, improving the software, adding more features based on the demands of our users and what the changes that eBay has been making. And it's been a great journey so far, and I'm really happy to be here to help you all with any questions you may have.
Amazing.
What about you, Kafir?
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, my unpronounceable name is Kfir. Just like Lior, coming also from Israel. About 10 years ago, I started my journey in e-commerce when I was sourcing from eBay guitar picks for my band, realizing that that there is no way to source it here in Israel. And then I said, well, I know how to build websites, and I started reselling those here in Israel. Just to a couple of years later, flip it and start doing drop shipping, which is actually like, I didn't source from eBay. I started to sell on eBay, sourcing from other platforms. My brother, Ofer, is my partner and the other owner of DSM Tool. We started DSM as a software that was oriented first for us to dropship, but very, very fast we released it for the community. And I don't know, something maybe about the user experience that we created seemed to be successful and grew us to be among the biggest softwares in the world in the past, I don't know, let's say looking a year and a half ago, definitely by a lot of metrics, we were among the biggest in the world. We're going to talk about where it stands today and where the market stands today. I don't want to just repeat everything that was already said, but I'll just say that we are interested, like we are dealing already today, it's not the only project that our company, look at myself, Jack, you did say, we are addressing here an audience that is an actual stocks resellers. And I think that maybe the right terminology would be to call all of ship online. It doesn't matter at the moment if you are holding the stock in your inventory or if you're the owner of the stock or you're doing drop shipping. We're all dealing in the same aspect of managing a business online, from HR perspective of most of us working with virtual assistants to, I don't know, the customer support and the changes.
There's a lot of similarities
that are happening on eBay. The fact we're going to talk about different changes are going to happen to people that deal with physical products, and changes are happening all the time, especially in the online world where everything is exponential and yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to, I don't want to say things without trying. I like database claims. So I think that we all come from the same mold, and I hope that we'll be able to provide good content today. Let's see.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to start with some questions that come up most often with me. And the first question is, what is the difference between manual drop shipping and bulk drop shipping? And as purveyors of the software, do you guys see success more one direction or the other? Jack, do you want to start and then go around the horn?
We could probably set up a system for who wants to speak first. So, if you just go like this and no one else is doing that, then, go ahead.
All right, I'll start. Or Leo was talking about it a lot lately. Leo, whoever you want from us to start, I don't mind.
Yeah, actually, I just made a webinar about this. So
you started.
So there are some types, some ways to succeed actually in dropshipping, and I don't say that one is better than other, but I will talk from my knowledge and from what I see from the stores which we monitor on AutoDS. So there are two types of dropshipping right now. Actually, it's the manual dropshipping and the automated dropshipping. While in manual dropshipping, people are meaning for two different types. One is like the automated dropshipping, just doing it manually without a tool. And the other is working with the suppliers, which provide products not from Amazon, not from well-known dropshipping sources. So usually people are referring to the first one, which is just working with Amazon without API. Now, from what we saw that actually if you go with the API method, with the automated method, so the way to succeed is the big numbers rule, like to have a lot of products and to work fully automated. So if someone wants to go with the way of the automated dropshipping, they need to go very big, like the big numbers rule, because if they go with 100 products, they will not succeed on this way. If someone wants to work with only few products and spend a lot of time on each product optimization, price optimization, pictures optimization, and everything, like the other sellers do, which are not dropshippers, so they can succeed. But I just, as a developer, as a software owner, I believe in the more automated way. But there you need to take a look on two things. The first one is that you can't make with this way a lot of profit per store. So each store will have around $1,000 to $2,000 in profit per month. And then if you want to grow, you need to have more stores. This is the way to succeed in dropshipping from what I see with the automated method. But the good thing is that when you automate your stores, so it's much easier to grow because, for example, we have users with 1 million or 2 million products, which is something which you just can't manage manually. But with the tool, you can manage it and you can make from each 10,000 products, $1,000 product in profits, plus minus. So this is the differences from what I see. And from what I see, the big dropshippers now in these days who work with the classic dropshipping from Amazon always have a lot of products because with few hundreds of products, it just doesn't work. But again, the good thing here is that it's very easy to grow it. It's very easy to have 10,000 products when everything automated, like orders automated, products finding automated. So this is the good thing.
Yeah, having 10,000 physical products is not easy. As Chris knows.
It's actually impossible. This is the good thing. You just need to care about your customer support because from what I see, actually, customer support is one of the most important things in eBay in general. So on eBay in general. So if you care about your customer support and everything else automated, so you can make profits with dropshipping.
Great. Kafir, thoughts?
Hey guys, hey again. So first, thank you, Lior, for elaborating on the subject. I want to relate to the definition of manual dropshipping because also, there are so many different types. Sometimes not only the methodologies that Lior was mentioning, sometimes are being referred to as manual dropshipping, which is either working with retailers, like big retailers, not only Amazon, by the way, also Walmart and Amazon, Walmart, and Home Depot are the three biggest retailers that people dropship from. And then there is now a trend to go and do that manually instead of using a software because of a belief that something that we're probably going to talk about soon, which is the new eBay dropshipping policy, is causing accounts to get flagged, which would cause people to sell, to get less listing visibility. And people claim, there are claims out there that it's related to a software API, which I think that Lior showed. I'm following Lior too, and I think he showed how in some aspects it's not relevant to say that, but I don't want to claim whether it's true or not, but there is a trend to do that manually. There is manual dropshipping that is referred to, as I said, to working with suppliers that just don't work with any software. But there are also other types of things that could be called dropshipping. For example, retail arbitrage, that you go to stores and then you go to clearance sections and you try to flip those either on eBay or Amazon, etc., etc., etc. What I want to say is I want to refer to eventually, when it comes to manual dropshipping or to how to refer to it, I want to refer to what all the hassle is all about. The entire hassle eventually is about the end buyer experience everywhere, no matter what type of those dropshipping methodologies you would use. Eventually, if you would not create a really, really, really good customer experience to your end buyers, no matter what you do, you would go down. The platform that you're selling on would not would restrict your account eventually, or would reduce your visibility or whatever. They will find a way to get you out of business. And I think that there is an importance in working with softwares that would either automate your, it doesn't have to be automation of your business. It just has to be a fine management of your business. Working with a software, regardless, by the way, also to the platform, because there are also softwares for Shopify and for Amazon, is important if it helps you to create a good end customer experience. So if you're doing anything that you're doing manually, just because you think that maybe software could have this or that implication, but during that process, you're actually hurting the potential. You're creating a potential of damage to your buyer experience. In a sustainable perspective, you're doing the wrong thing, because you have, like, if you're trying to build a business by, I don't know, not working manually because you think it would do something, but you're actually hurting your buyer experience, you're doing it wrong. In the long term, it just doesn't work. Things are changing all the time. We see changes happening all the time. Your business will not survive that way. So that's the only thing that I wanted to say regarding manual work in general in any business. You can do manual work. It's up to you. You can listen to whoever you want about it, but you can't forget your buyers that process manually, and you're not making your customer experience better by that. Long-term thinking, you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. That's my answer, Chris.
Miguel?
Yeah, hi. So I would like to talk a little bit about manual dropshipping versus bulk dropshipping, as you mentioned. Manual dropshipping for me would be to look for individual products, spending some time like looking at competitors, be it using any software to determine that or not, but just spend some time trying to understand the product that you are trying to sell, choosing the specific keywords, and really paying attention to each and every detail of that product. You have people who are, I mean, we see it all the time. We have people who are succeeding just by having few products, like maybe a few hundred maybe, and they are making good profit for them. They are happy with their business. But obviously, sometimes with those numbers, you cannot compete with someone who's doing bulk drop shipping, where they upload maybe thousands of products every day and have obviously more information and more capabilities, larger eBay accounts, and they have more chances to create a larger profit. As Lior mentioned earlier, we also see that it is better for users to have like multiple accounts rather than having just one account only for dropshipping. Maybe they separate it by niche, or they just create different accounts, not to have everything, all the eggs in one basket. Then we have got this API linking issue or thing that is coming up now. And with regards to that, obviously, eBay, if eBay was not happy with providing an API, there wouldn't be any API. It doesn't make sense for eBay to have an API available for sellers and have all these compatible application process that we have all passed if they were not happy with people who are using that. So that is something. That is one thing. Then there's a lot of accounts. There's many accounts that without an API, it would be very, very complicated to manage, because you have a lot of products from one source. You need to contact with different suppliers, and it would be too much even even if you have to do it manually to reach certain amount in profit, it would be too much for someone. So if you really want to grow and have a proper business in numbers, I mean like very big numbers, you are serious about this, you'll need a software that allows you to manage all this. It doesn't, as someone mentioned, I think it was Kafir earlier, that it doesn't need to manage each and every aspect of your store, but it needs to give you a solution. And what I personally try to do with Hustle Got Real is that we try to provide a tool that can adapt to any situation. If the user wants to have a store with few items and smaller profit, then fine, we'll find a way. They will be able to work on that. Then if someone wants to bulk list a lot of items and have a store with hundreds of thousands of products online and synchronize and monitor, then fine. But because eBay will not tell you exactly, okay, this is the thing that helps you sell more. They're not saying that. So we need to at least give the sellers the option so that they can try one strategy. Maybe what works today what is completely different from what was working a year ago, and sellers need to adapt. The eBay is, as you all know, constantly changing, and we need to try and keep up with those changes and offer the sellers the options so that they can try different strategy and see what works better for them. We have had sellers with creating an account, like different people creating an account the same day on the same site, same limits, and they put the same product, same title at the same time, and one was in page 1 and the other one was page 4 in the search results. So how can you explain that? There's many factors that are involved on this, and it just depends on the strategy, and you need to keep testing and trying what works for you, really.
Jack, can I ask? I don't want to ask. I just want to say we're talking here already about manual dropshipping. Sorry, Chris, I meant it also for you. We're talking about manual dropshipping, which is great, and the three of us already immediately go down to discuss the solution, and like we're already relating to what do we think about the new eBay dropshipping policy. But Jack, since you're the host, and Chris, maybe you can also share your knowledge about it. Maybe we should explain the audience a little bit what happened. What are the things that we're all saying, like everything changed and what do we see now? But let's talk maybe a little bit about what has changed, what happened, what is it the subject of eBay new dropshipping policy? I don't mind saying.
This is definitely very relevant information for those who are listening. So dropshipping has always. I think
that maybe you guys would want to bring it up from a
dropshipping has always.
That would not sound.
Dropshipping has always had a reputation to it, right? And like manual dropshipping, like what we're talking about, this is not a new thing. It's popular recently, but there's been a subset of dropshippers who don't trust software and they don't trust doing anything but doing all the work yourself. That subset of dropshippers has existed for years and years and years and years. But there's a reason that it's now popular, and that's what Kafir is alluding to. So eBay has always frowned on using sources like Walmart or Amazon, specifically because eBay customers will order something and then it shows up in an Amazon box. And the customer's like, well, I could have just ordered it from Amazon. It's literally an advertisement for eBay's competitor, right? So it makes a lot of sense that eBay is frustrated with this. But up until very recently, there wasn't any direct statements by eBay saying they don't allow it. Like in my case, when I was dropshipping, I was honest about everything with eBay. I was like, this is what I do. I just order stuff from Walmart. The receipts are in the boxes. I can't do anything about it. I just give refunds and returns and make sure the customer's happy, right? But last year, eBay made a change to their policy to specifically state that if you use retail sources such as Walmart or Amazon to source your listings on eBay, that eBay will limit your traffic. So eBay created this flag essentially that identifies you as a drop shipper and chooses to show all other people's items before your items, because eBay doesn't want their customers to get Amazon boxes and Walmart boxes unless there's no other options available at all, and that's the last option, okay? And so this change created a lot of stir in the dropshipping community because it essentially invalidated something that people had been doing for a while. And there's now a lot of different approaches and beliefs as to how eBay flags these accounts. But what is interesting is that no matter what eBay does, it can't get rid of dropshipping. Dropshipping is a huge opportunity for people all around the world. And even if eBay states that you can't directly dropship from Walmart or Amazon or these places, unfortunately, that's not going to stop people from doing it. So it's quite an interesting situation.
I want to say something about this, and this is also related to what Kfir said about the customer support and customer experience. Under the last eBay's update, there is always like a top takeaway, if you know this on eBay's site. So the top takeaway from the last update is if you use dropshipping, you're still responsible for the safe delivery of the item within the time frame you stated in your listing, and the buyer's overall satisfaction with their purchase, which means that eBay really care about just the buyer's experience and not from where the products or how they came to the buyer or how you listed the products. That's what I wanted to add here about this.
May I also add something?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, Leo, finish. I have the tendency to cut you all the time. Can I speak?
Yeah, you can go.
All right. So thank you for the clarification, Jack, and thank you, Leo, for the comment. I just wanted to add that after eBay's new policy, as many people mentioned, a lot of people got like the feeling that they get less visibility. There are a lot of YouTube videos about accounts that suddenly started to get less visibility. And there are a lot of new approaches, and all of us, I think all three of us are working on approaches how to still make money when doing dropshipping online. Our approach, maybe we should all share a little bit about what is our approach, and then also discuss the risk and how is it related to people that has physical products. So Leo, because my approach is a little bit different than yours, I will let you speak for yourself. I watched your webinar recently, so I know what is your new approach and how do you guys refer to it. I just want to say that on our side in DSM Tool, what we decided to do is we decided that we want to, I'll say in general that there is still the option to do dropshipping from retailers. It's still going to work. And for that, one of the things that we decided to do is in order to help people look for better opportunities to add new suppliers to our platform, to allow them to source from multiple different sources and also from suppliers that has the suppliers that are more dropshipping friendly, down to the level of suppliers that were actually, down to the level of suppliers that we're actually officially partnering with that provides resale agreements that's supposed to help people to pass things like MC 011, and which is an eBay compliancy check to different accounts. So, but the point is that even though you hear about the buzz of the new dropshipping policy or the flagged accounts and all of that, Jack, just like you said, new methodologies are being developed all the time. Lior said it beautifully. He said that we are, as dropshippers, are and will always be, and it's not dropshippers, it's online entrepreneurs. We are problem solvers. When we see a problem, we need to find a way to solve it. It doesn't matter. You will see if you guys, and I suggest you, and I hope, if there's something comes up for us in this channel, is that you will choose also to follow our content. And then each one of the people in the audience could choose according to his risk management or their risk management. What do they think that might impact and how that will impact their store? They can choose with which ones of the methodologies they want to go with. But the methodologies are already out there. So little time after the new dropshipping policy is out there, we already, all of us, are launching now campaigns that are explaining new methodologies and new ideas and new approaches to how to keep doing dropshipping and how it can keep working. Instead of saying like immediately dropshipping is dead, we're saying, okay, eBay has made a change. We're going down to research. We're starting now to do research. We find new ways. We find new business opportunities. It doesn't always have to, I told you, we're not only doing dropshipping, we're all so looking into other areas and the opportunities are other and they're still coming, and it's an important message. Now will be our solutions to solve the problem that eBay just brought to us. That doesn't mean that it be a new problem. eBay
Fear, you're breaking up.
I'm having a bit of a breaking up wrong. Do we want to have Miguel?
Reseller? Doesn't matter if you do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh.
Let's have Miguel address this potential limitation of traffic, because if you get flagged a dropshipping account.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, in the dropshipping community. Oh, Kafir is back. Kafir, you want to finish?
Yeah, I'm losing my battery. I just wanted to say that following content and keep researching, and just by learning, just by following YouTube videos and stuff like that is to stay up to date, to stay professional. It's like, think about any, I don't know, professor of anything that would not go to conferences I don't know, a physics professor that would not go to physics conferences would not stay up to date, would still think that the world is flat, because that's what physicists believe in the past. Now it's changing in an accelerating phase, including the world of dropshipping that is changing, and the world of e-commerce that keep changing all the time. And you know, I believe that all three of us as online entrepreneurs are going to find new ways and new methodologies to keep doing dropshipping. It's going to happen. It's already happening. So stay part of the community. That's the message behind that whole new dropshipping policy. There will be new ways. There are already new ways to keep making money online. That's it, Miguel. You can continue.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so with regards to this new policy that Leo mentioned earlier, if you read the latest update from eBay, it mentions specifically that dropshipping, where you fulfill orders directly from a wholesale supplier, is allowed on eBay. I mean that dropshipping is not dead, as you might read on YouTube and other places. It is not dead, and eBay has specifically mentioned that it is allowed on their platform. What they're saying, and this is what we are discussing at the moment in the second paragraph, say that purchasing an item from another retailer or marketplace that ships directly to the customer is not allowed on eBay. So they are basically telling you to use suppliers, wholesale suppliers, not doing retail arbitrage, but supply. Obviously, there are still ways for you to do drop shipping from another retailers. It is just more complicated now at the moment, because they are still trying to find new ways to identify sellers who are doing retail arbitrage, and they will lower your listings on the search results, which is not good. What we are doing here at HustleGotReal, we've been trying to add more and more wholesale suppliers to stay in line with what the new eBay's demands, and we are offering these suppliers to our users directly, so that they can choose. We have got more than 100 suppliers. Not all of them are wholesale, because before retail arbitrage was okay, but now that they have mentioned that they support wholesale suppliers, then we believe that the right approach would be to offer our customers wholesale suppliers so that they can source their product from them and stay in line with eBay requirements. As Kafir said as well, it's not, this is what we are doing now, but this is constantly evolving, and it's about providing solutions to the community so that because dropshipping in general, the concept will always be, and we just need to determine what the best way is to stay in line with it, the marketplace, which in this case is eBay, and so that find a model that can work, as we mentioned before. So that's, I think it's clear that dropshipping, it's still there and it's going to stay. It just needs to be done the right way.
I'm going to do a little bit of a summary, if that's okay, of what I've heard so far, and you guys can tell me what you think. So the initial question was, I guess we'll actually start with the latter question, which was, is dropshipping dead? Is it still allowed? I actually called eBay to ask directly, is dropshipping allowed? They said yes. They definitely prefer authorized wholesalers. That does exist. And of course, people are not going to stop doing retail arbitrage selling. They're going to reduce your traffic, as they said in that note. They're going to put you below people they think actually have the item physically in stock and can fulfill themselves. That doesn't mean that you can't be successful, especially if you're more competitive, maybe offering a better deal or something. And that goes to Kafir's point of what works right now will not continue to work. That's important. You need to stay in tune with the community. You need to stay up to date on whatever platform you're selling on, what their policies are, and continuously optimize your listings. The second thing we talked about, which Miguel made a really good point. eBay still has API access, which means they're open to working with third parties. They want to work with third parties. They just want to have some type of control with it. So there are two different ways they go after it, which is either you go, and this is something Lior was mentioning, a small inventory with really high optimization, like you know your stuff, or maybe you go a huge inventory with more opportunities to sell something. So you can, there's a spear method or a net method to try to get deals, but there's still ways to make money. And then finally, you may want to aim for having multiple stores. Both Lior and Miguel recommended. There's something to do with multiple stores. Maybe you get limited traffic per listings. Also, the age of your account may matter, and your track history of customer service metrics, which is something that Kafir also mentioned too, which is problem solving. Not problem solving, I'm sorry. The end user experience is number one. This is the reason why eBay started making more rules for dropshipping, is because they care about the end user. It costs so much money for them to get that person to come on to eBay in the first place. They don't want to give that traffic to somebody who does a terrible job with that customer, which is very expensive. And as you guys, not only is it becoming saturated in the sense that there are a lot more people learning how to sell online, there are more and more and more platforms that pop up over time. And they're just slowly taking traffic away from all the bigger sites. And so it's important to not put all your eggs in one basket, which several of you mentioned. So I'm going to ask a question. So I've heard this from many of my channel members. People are saying, okay, this is my guess of how dropshipping works. If you were to do heavy research into either figuring out a small niche, or you'd go bulk and you spend the majority of your time doing customer service, people are saying you can earn between $1,000 and $2,000 per 40 hours of work. So since where I live in California, $90,000 a year is considered low income. That would mean people would need 5 to 8 virtual assistants helping them in order to scale large enough to pay your bills here, and then maybe multiple accounts, maybe multiple IP addresses to avoid being banned because of one error, maybe some. That seems to be the biggest concern from my audience is, I don't want to get suspended because I'm doing a poor job with customer service metrics, but can't that happen easier when you're relying on a different company versus doing it yourself? That's probably the biggest concern. So is it true that you need to scale virtual assistants to make a real living drop shipping? I guess that's my first question. maybe we can do reverse order. We'll start with Miguel.
Yeah. So I can talk about my own experience. For me, I was really concerned with feedback at the beginning with my store because my store was making money. I was doing drop shipping, and each and every question from a customer or return was like a challenge because I didn't really want to get in trouble because I wasn't able to provide the right customer service. And that I had to research a lot, pay a lot of attention, and potentially do everything I could to avoid getting a negative feedback whenever there was a problem with an order. Most of the times it wasn't even my fault. It was just that the supplier had sent the wrong item, things that can happen. It happens with retail. It can happen also if you are doing drop shipping. So eventually I was doing everything myself. I was replying to all the customers, but it wasn't sustainable for me. So I had to put a series of videos in place where I had to hire my first virtual assistant for managing the customer service, because at the beginning I was explaining to them what to do via Skype. I did it once, then this person left the job. I had to hire another one, and the same thing happened again. Third time I said, look, I'm spending a lot of time training them, so I'll just create videos so that they know exactly what to do, how to handle the different aspects of the business. And I think it's also important that they have sort of not a complete freedom, but they can take decisions as well. So up to, I don't know, $50 or up to $20. Look, if you can sort it out, don't even contact me to ask me permission, something. Just make it right for the customer, and it will be all right. And I've been running my own store at the same time, and I think it's 99.8 positive feedback, 100% drop shipping. So I didn't even have any item. So it is definitely possible, but you need to. It takes some time. This is why I would recommend to have someone, a virtual assistant, that you trust. It needs to be trained, but I think this is the right way, the right approach. Having someone, training them properly, and this way it can really scale.
That's great advice. Lior, do you wanna address the concept of, do you need virtual assistants to grow your dropshipping business?
Yes, so I think about this, have some points here. The first one is that about these are people afraid to hire their customer support because of the dropshipping. So if your supplier is reliable, so you will be fine. And about what Miguel said, actually right now, if I get a new virtual assistant, I can teach him even without talking with him at all. Like I have 42 ready-made replies, which I'm just giving him, and this is the reply, just work with it. It's splitted by topics. I have videos for anything actually. So like around 2 weeks ago, I started another project of 35 dropshipping stores. And I just took some VAs even without talking with them at all. So you can get to this scale, but even for without a huge scale, I think that if you have enough automation, and this is what I really believe in, and I also said it in the beginning of the call, that automation is the key here. Like if your orders are automated, products finding is automated, you can do it with AutoDS or with other tools, it doesn't matter. And so all what you need to do is the customer support. So you can either get a VA, or you can just sell with higher prices, or work with the products which are much more expensive and then make higher profits per product. And then you have less customer support for higher profits. This is also something which is possible. And I have some clients with really big stores, but they have, for example, only 10 or 20 sales per day. But for each sale, they do like $100 in profit. So it's worth it, the customer support for these amounts of profits. So this is what I'm thinking about this. So virtual assistant is not must, but usually people with like 10,000 listings have around one virtual assistant.
So
by the way, people with 1 million products have around 7. So it's not like, it's not linearly goes up.
Real quick, I
Okay.
just want to remind people what, so Miguel is from Hustle.Real, Lior is from AutoDS, and Kafir is from DSM Tool.
What is Miguel's software again?
Hustle.Real.
Hustle got real. Got it.
There, I just sent in the chat.
By the way, last which I forgot to say here, even if you work with the suppliers where the customer support is not perfect, for example, AliExpress, you can still find the companies that are the suppliers inside the marketplace which have a good customer support and a good feedbacks. For example, with AliExpress, the return process to AliExpress is very hard and very long. So what I do, I will just first refund to my client the money, and then I will work with AliExpress. So this way, my store is always covered and always good in a good standing status, because I will first care about the client and only then I will work with the supplier. So this is also another trick which will help to avoid problems with customer support.
Great. Kafir, can you speak for a moment on, do you need virtual assistants to scale a dropshipping business?
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I just keep losing the connection for some reason. I hope that now you could hear me well. What I wanted to say about it, when you asked the question, I was thinking to myself, so let's try to understand what do we mean by making making a lot of money or making a great income. Can you think of Apple computers? I'm taking a really extreme example, of course, just to make the point. But can you think of Apple computers getting to its size today by Steve Jobs working there alone, only by himself? That's obviously increasing the manpower of your company or growing as a company is an important aspect of growing a business. Saying that, there are businesses that people manage by themselves that make a lot of money. I don't know if you think about very successful lawyers, maybe they have some interns, but they pretty much work alone and their hourly rate is very, very, very big. The question of whether you can run that business with virtual assistants or not, or who should be your virtual assistants, is hard to answer. It really depends on the time, and really depends on your strategy as a business. If you are working with, let's say, only a couple of suppliers, as you said, and you have some winning products, and maybe you're running profit to them, and you're not, by the way, not only eBay, maybe you do Shopify, and then you run your own traffic, then you would need most likely less virtual assistants and more service providers that can give you very high quality work of, I'm saying pretty obvious things, but it's important to understand, because if people are saying, well, I can't scale up that business because I would need virtual assistants. Well, if you don't feel like working with virtual assistants, find another business model that doesn't require virtual assistants. If you are going to run 1 million products from Amazon store or from AliExpress or whatever onto eBay, and you are working with relatively low margins, and you grow your business low, most likely the first thing that you're going to do in order to expand your business is to hire virtual assistants. Virtual assistants comes usually from third world countries. A lot of virtual assistants come from the Philippines or from Pakistan. And I personally, we have some people that started as virtual assistants of my personal virtual assistants from my personal account became my personal assistant today in the company. We're now a software company. So he's not working anymore on my account. But you know, it has its implications to work with virtual assistants. It's harder. Generally, by the way, working online with people is different than working with people in the office, and it will require from you as a business manager to learn the methodologies, to be a business manager, to study the methodologies of best practices of how to work online. Like and Miguel said it, he made videos for his virtual assistants to explain to them how to do the processes that they have to repeat again and again. And he learned how to do it after a while of working with them. And that's part of what you have to take in consideration. Some of the things you will have to learn how to optimize. And that's true for any kind of business that you're going to build. And if you don't feel like doing that, then either work with a small scale or don't start doing businesses. I don't know, there is no business that doesn't have risk, and growing up and scaling up to bigger numbers is part of it.
I
think
love it.
this,
It's almost when people present questions like this, they're looking for an excuse not to even be a business person, because do I really need? They want us to say yes, you need virtual assistants, so they can say, okay, then I can't do it. They're looking for that excuse to give up, when really that's a good point. You can find the answer to most questions by just looking at the way the question is structured. And what do you even mean by make a lot of money, right? We don't know what that means. Depends on where you live. It depends on a lot of things. But your strategy is very important. If you want to scale a company, of course you need help. If you want to just get by working at home, working as little as possible, that's a different strategy. So, people are very funny with the way they ask questions. Let me see. I think I had one more.
I want to say something real quick.
Go ahead, Jack.
So regardless to whether you're actually drop shipping or you're physically selling on eBay, getting experience working with virtual assistants is a freaking superpower. It can be used in so many different ways. Imagine you send a text message. You're at work, you have an idea, you want to remember it, you want something to happen. All you have to do is send one text to a VA and then they do something for you. The power that virtual assistants gives you in everything that you do on a computer, whether you are drop shipping, running a YouTube channel, making courses, anything becomes much, much more effective if you're working as a team with other people. And for me, like, I don't drop ship anymore, but I got experience working with virtual assistants through drop shipping. When I stopped drop shipping, I kept my relationships with my virtual assistants. And now I just upload a YouTube video, it gets tagged, it gets titled, it gets thumbnailed, all that stuff happens to it without me having to do anything, because I've trained my virtual assistant how to do all this stuff for me. When I don't feel like researching what courses I should take to keep my, I send my VAs a message. I'm like, hey, could you find me 20 courses about this subject that I can take? I'll give you $10. Boom. Next day, I have a list of courses for me to take to educate myself. And that's only just touching into how useful virtual assistance is. So don't think that it's a hard thing to get into, because it can have a really amazing effect on every, act as a catalyst that makes everything you work on more effective.
Absolutely. What I'd like to get into right now is actually, let's talk about your software. It's very rare to get you guys on the same call. Lior, do you want to start with talking about what your software addresses when people are looking into AutoDS? What are the main benefits? And then I also want you to address a little bit of your own experience, because it's very cool that all three of you actually, you don't just make software, you're actually involved with you have your own companies and you drop ship yourself. So do you want to go over why would people use AutoDS and what makes you guys different?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I really agree with you about this, that it's very important that actually I think that maybe we are the only software owners, but I'm not sure that really into the dropshipping. I think that it's really important. So the software came from our needs, from my needs actually, as I said before. The main focuses of AutoDS is all-in-one dropshipping platform. This is the first focus, and the second one is full automation. So about the all-in-one, we have everything that the dropshipper needs. Actually, you don't need to go to eBay for any reason. It means that you can upload products from AutoDS, you can find products, you have the price optimization. Actually, if the product sells well, so it will increase the price. If it stops selling, it will decrease the price. It will remove for your best selling products automatically. Features like 99 cents, like change to 99 cents for the psychology of the buyers. Orders processing, you can make orders fully automatically, like the system will fulfill the order for you automatically. It will send 3 messages to the buyers, update tracking number, and this will also increase your feedbacks. Full messenger center, like you can answer cases, returns, cancellations, everything from the system. And also you can add there the templates for your virtual assistants actually. So for example, when I got the virtual assistant, I just added the 42 templates for him, and then he can with one click just send the templates, the messages. And the basic thing, which actually I didn't say about, is the price and stock monitoring, which is any dropshipping tool have, like monitor. So this is the main things. So about the focus of the automation, for example, you can configure the tool to upload for you 1,000 products which sold at least 8 times on the last month, every day at 10 o'clock. So every day the products will be uploaded to your store automatically. Then the system will adapt the price automatically, depends on how the product sells. And it will delete the products if they didn't sell for you. So this is about the automation. Like we are trying to really make the users work only on the customer support for now. Maybe one day we will be able to automate it. For now, it's too hard. So this is about it. Do you have any questions about it?
No, I like that because it seems a little bit overwhelming as a non-dropshipper myself. There's so many different softwares to choose from, and it looks like a very structured type of selling because it's so sensitive price-wise that you would need to check it or have software checking it constantly. I like that sort of a price or stock analysis because of the nature of dropshipping is very different than, let's say, people are walking around looking for rare or unique items. When you put that onto eBay, there's almost no competition. You don't need to be exact. There's no reason to update your things that often. Versus this is, the way I'm looking at dropshipping now from listening to you gentlemen is that it's very much a business. It's not, like people aren't just dabbling in dropshipping. I mean, this seems like it's very involved. You even mentioned there's scheduled time for tasks. I love that because then you can start organizing your day. And if it's all in one tool, then you basically would split your day up into handling certain tasks. And that's much easier to grasp than you go to a garage sale and get 20 random items and go home and start putting them online. That's totally different. So I like even though it's the same concept of selling goods online, very, very different. So let's go with Miguel. Miguel, talk to us a little bit about Hustle Got Real.
Yeah. So again, I will talk about my own experience in this case, because when I started Hustle Got Real a few years ago, before I started creating my own software, I decided to check what was available already in the market because I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. But I found that the existing softwares that I tested at the moment were like too complicated to configure, too complex to like list products, configure all these settings about pricing and monitoring, and it was just too much. So I said, look, there needs to be something that's more like simpler to configure, simpler to use, very easy to understand, so that anyone, even if it's just a complete beginner, can understand and get started like right away. And again, I started developing the software for my own store with the idea in mind that it had to be easy to use and also very flexible, so that what I have configured for my store, if you have a different strategy, it can also work for you. And this is why we work with so many different suppliers, wholesale and retail, because, well, we want to help people to use and really create their own strategy. And if someone wants to do wholesale suppliers, then they can work with product from wholesale. If someone wants to do retail arbitrage, they have retail arbitrage, retail stores, and they can work with those. We also offer, obviously, apart from price monitoring and stock, which is like standard, there is also the lister, so to say, so to put new products online. that is easy. It helps you, and it helps you to optimize the listing. And then we've also got the bulk lister, which will allow you to like list thousands of items very quickly. So the idea is to have the best of both approaches, so that the user can decide which one to take, and we support them along the process as well, offering as many functionalities as we can. We are like on the search section, you can find items, for example, from a specific supplier that have sold only twice in the last 2 months, but were created more than a year ago, and these kind of combinations, so that people can decide what to do with those items. They want to increase the price for them, and take better decisions basically. But in the end, it's up to the seller to decide what to do. We have got a cool feature that's been very popular recently, which is called a Price Warrior, which basically finds other sellers on eBay and tries and like, because on eBay there's people who will try to copy your product and maybe sell them like $1 cheaper. So this module, for example, will try to find who those sellers who are copying you are, and then compete with them in price, or depending on your strategy again, automatically. So you don't have to spend time research, this I used to sell this a lot, now I'm not selling it, why is this? And it's also with the idea of literally automating as much as we can. Obviously, ideally everything should be like completely automated. We haven't got there yet, but that's what we work for, to free time for our users.
Excellent. Jack, do you have any questions for Lior or Miguel?
Not yet. So I will say that both Miguel and Lior's softwares, Hustle Got Real and AutoDS, AutoDS, it's obvious because of the name of the software, Auto, they focus a lot on lessening the amount of work that is necessary as a dropshipper. For example, with Hustle Got Real, when you're actually listing items, you're not on the Hustle Got Real website. You're like browsing the sources, and then you start looking at different items and you're like, oh, I like this. And then you use like some extensions and click a button, and then it gets added through Hustle Got Real. You don't actually like go to Hustle Got Real itself usually to list your products. It's a very kind of seamless process. And the same thing can be done with the other tools as well. Basically, all three of these softwares, DSM, AutoDS, and Hustle Got Real, allow you to get a URL of an item and convert that into an eBay listing super quick, while also checking the stock of that and monitoring the listing. So if for those of you listening who are new to dropshipping, or you're confused, because we've given so much information here, I understand it's overwhelming for people new into the scene. Your takeaway should be that all three of these softwares allow you to turn a URL of an item into an eBay listing in seconds.
Excellent.
Am I getting the stage too to do a lot of marketing work?
Yes, you are. So why would people pick DSM tool? Talk about advantages, maybe just a generic elevator pitch.
All right, elevator pitch about DSM tool. So I just wanted to say before I'm starting an elevator pitch for DSM tool that we have in the past 2 or 3 months, since eBay has done their major changes, have been working about some new solutions. It's not one solution, it's a set of new solutions that are aimed to bring back sales generation to our customers. And so I can't speak about all of them, unfortunately, because I'm here with we're good friends and we're in good terms, but eventually we're competitors. So obviously I can't release anything. So I hope that from that marketing move that I'm doing right now, I'll gain some people that would choose to follow our upcoming campaign that is going to go out in the upcoming days, and then reveal everything. But I just wanted to say that other than the user experience that we've created for DSM tool of redesigning, that's already out, so I can speak about it, of redesigning the entire system to make a very, very simple workflow for the dropshipper. Eventually, above only automation, we have a lot of automation tools, starting from collecting products from our suppliers with one click. It's not only that you can take one URL, but you can just browse any supplier out of many, many suppliers we have, and we're adding more and more all the time. You can browse them and just click plus next to products that you want to take. Or for example, let's say that you found a product, let's say that you're using some kind of a research, a lot of eBay sellers are using either Therapy, Zik Analytics, any one of those. Once you found a product and then you go to the source website, you can collect all of the products and all of its related products, because a lot of times you would not sell exactly that product, but the related product would be much more relevant. So you can take all of those and create a list with our Chrome extension, and then easily list it through DSM, either in single or in bulk, or schedule it to a continuous scheduling. You can schedule a list of 24 items to be published once in an hour, and then all day long you have products that are being published in your account and keeping your account active. And then they're being monitored every 60 minutes. And we monitor in 60 minutes both suppliers that are retail arbitrage and suppliers that are the more legitimate type of arbitrage, like wholesale suppliers or just suppliers that provides you with a resale agreement. We do a lot of content. We have changed. We used to do the Dropshipping magazine, which was quite successful in Google terms, but we have changed it to, we're calling it now the Dropship Academy, which is where we're trying to provide content about how, to keep everyone updated with what's going on, and maybe even to do, on Instagram, we're already posting daily content. But I'll go back to features. After you sell a product, you have either an completely automated ordering system that works mostly for the big retailers, but also a Chrome extension that works for every supplier in DSM tool. You can it's not a fully automated ordering process, but for every supplier you have a copy-paste of the buyer information and copy-paste of the tracking information. A lot of tools that are easing the process of managing your orders. Plus, the management of the orders is a very important aspect that you can do, which is, for example, to mark the orders that you already, so let's say you got 20 orders today or 100 orders. You can see easily and filter by orders that you already processed, and you can mark them, and you can see where did you put a tracking information and where didn't you put tracking information. Same for the messages center. Other than the fact that we also have automated messages that are being sent, or a pricing strategy, prices that goes up automatically and goes down automatically. A lot of features that all of us, by the way, all of the softwares has most of them. Also, I think that what I'm going to say now is also something that most of us share. A customer support center where you can see the information, all of the information. Like, think about it, when you get a message on eBay today and you have the products in your stock, that's no problem. But if the products are not in your stock, they're in a retailer, supplier, or generally at your supplier, you can't really see on eBay the data from the supplier. You can see what's the current price of the supplier or what's the tracking number that you added for that product. And in DSM tool, that's what we focused on in the messaging center. It's more like a chat where you can see all of the information from both the supplier and your eBay store. And the entire system is built like that. The entire system is built in order to help you to manage your dropshipping store in a right way, to never lose any piece of information. It's more than just automating what you do. It's about, this is why we call it a dropshipping manager, or we call it, like, our tagline says, everything you need for dropshipping, because it helps you manage your dropshipping business, no matter in what strategy or tactic you're using. Plus, it has really awesome new features that are going to be added soon, and I'm not yet talking about, but in the upcoming days, for sure. It'll be awesome stuff that are very much related to the new changes in eBay's policy, that are meant basically to generate more sales for people, because the general feeling of people that we got from our customers is that sales have been dropping and they need new solutions for not only how to automate the dropshipping on eBay, but also how to actually have a business opportunity to make money. Some of them will do it in retail arbitrage, like in arbitrage from retailers, and some will do it in a more legitimate way, which might be, I don't know, if we're talking specifically about the audience of eBay sellers, of sellers of actual products, then if you would want, I didn't say it before about the virtual assistants, but if you want to scale your business into, so you would want at some point to diverse and do more than one type of drop shipping. So maybe if you're selling today products only from your inventory and you want to expand into drop shipping, then you just need to find the right way for you to do it. And I hope that we will be able to provide it by giving almost risk-free for your eBay account, almost risk-free solutions that are 100% legitimate and approved by eBay. It's something that we're really, really working on to do, because we want to serve audiences like people that hold actual inventory and can't put their accounts at risk. While people that don't mind, for example, a lot of people are working with stealth accounts and multiple accounts that are not linked to each other. And I'm pretty sure that everyone on eBay that are selling for a while know what I'm talking about. For them, maybe retail arbitrage would be beneficial enough on its own, because they mind less about, they want to work with less risk. They don't mind working with more risk, because if they will lose their account, it's a stealth account, it's not their main business, they have multiple accounts. So that would fit more for them. And we hope to have the solutions for obviously for everyone, but also for people that want to work with low risk and with legitimate suppliers.
So, Chris.
This is fascinating, Jack. I want to ask you a question. Do you think it's possible for me as a drop shipper level 0 to attempt to list the same product on all 3 of these tools just to see the difference? Because this is so different to me, and I think that might be a useful way. I want to create an exercise that's fair, so I can see, since I'm literally not an affiliate of any of these products, this is a great way to test it unbiased, because people want to know. So this is I would say the largest part of my audience would be interested in drop shipping to some extent, but they're starting from 0 experience. So I think that might be a useful way to hop on to, I did a survey. I think 80% of my followers is interested in drop shipping and has never tried.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a lot. That's 25,000 people that have never even tried drop shipping one time, but have interest.
Yeah.
So the hurdle to just getting over trying one listing is that mentally challenging.
And it's absolutely possible to use multiple tools on the same eBay account. That's actually what I used to do back when I started really doing a lot of different YouTube videos. Because in the beginning, I didn't really know that there was so much drop shipping software. I just thought, it was just HydraLister. And then I was like, oh no, there's actually 20 other tools. And now there's even more tools, right? So what I would do is I would be like, all right, I'll interview this person and then I'll do a series of videos using their tool. And I would have different strategies for the different tools. So I didn't do a fair assessment, but I can say from personal experience that you absolutely can have 100 items from one tool on your eBay account, and then 100 items from another tool on that same eBay account, and another tool as well. So typically you wouldn't do the same thing, because you wouldn't be trying to identify what tool works best. You would be using different strategies for each tool, and different tools, different strategies may be more applicable. So in my case, for example, there was a tool that allowed better optimization of titles. It was easier. So for my run of items that I was doing more optimization, I used that tool. But then I used AutoDS to post my really, really expensive items, because they had a more diligent pruning process. So they were more likely to catch Vero problems and this kind of stuff. So I could just make a list of $1,000 items, throw it in AutoDS, and it would get rid of the 60% of them that were crap, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. So in that sense, you can have multiple tools linking to the same eBay account, but typically you would be following different strategies with the tools. Typically, you wouldn't just try all of them at the same time and see what happened. But that you could do that. That's definitely doable.
I think that it's amazing that dropshippers going to the other type of eBay selling, no dropshipping, and no dropshippers trying dropshipping, and then it's nice to see of things.
They're interested, but they haven't tried it. I mean, one message for those 25,000 people. It doesn't matter to which one of those softwares you're gonna sign up. Once, when you finish this video, go pick it randomly. Go do a research or just register to all of them. Just start doing. Just start working on your business. Grow your business. It's the only way. Maybe you'll have some accounts getting closed. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you'll have a hard time and a learning curve. But eventually, it's about doing, and doing is the most important aspect. None of us here, listen to our personal stories. None of us started by just sitting and being interested. All of us started by doing, no matter in which strategy you would go, doing and doing now, not tomorrow, not in a week, right after you finish listening to this video or watching this video. That's the time to start doing.
I think that we didn't talk about how to combine maybe dropshipping with the regular selling. Like,
Yeah,
is it something interesting for? Sorry.
I mean, I for some reason I've never. You know, I also had lunch with Paul. What's Paul's last name?
Paul Lipsky.
Paul Lipsky recently, and he said that it's unusual to find people that do both. They usually do one or the other. I think maybe it's a different part of your brain. Maybe I don't know people that do both. So, you know, yeah, meeting with Paul, it was interesting because, you know, we did a meetup in New York City, and the audiences were completely different. The two people that, I mean, that they didn't even, no one had heard of any of the other people on the other side. It's like two different communities.
So weird.
It is weird, yeah.
Different, but it's not different. Like, it's this deal with the same problems, you know? That's what's so crazy to me about the whole thing.
Yeah, it is crazy, very different.
But Lior, so what are you getting at? How would you combine them? What do you recommend?
I didn't think about the answer, but okay. Anyway, I think that this can be a kind of market research, maybe. For example, if you bulk like 1,000 products, and then you see that a specific niche going very well for your store, so you can go and buy the same product or similar product and then make much higher profit margins for these products. So I think that this is a great way to combine both. Like with the dropshipping, you can find what works well for your store, and then with the like regular method, I don't know how to explain it, but go and make much higher profit margins for the same products. So this is one of the strategies I think that could work. And the other one is maybe if you have a specific niche, for example, home and garden, so, and you have only 5 products, you can't really build, or maybe you can, I don't know, but you can't really build a store, a professional store with 5 products. So this way you can add more products from dropshipping and combine it with the regular products from the same niche. This is the 2 ways which I think that could work.
So essentially you use dropshipping as product research because you don't need to buy anything, you don't need to spend any money. You can post a series of products just to identify what has demand. And then once you've identified what has demand, then you could go out physically and source it or purchase wholesale inventory and that kind of thing. And that's something that I personally learned a lot in my drop shipping days. So for reference, for those of you listening, when I was drop shipping, I was super experimental. I was not trying to make like a profitable, well-oiled, functioning drop shipping business. I was trying to make YouTube videos that got attention and acquire as much data as I possibly could. So I would just go to Walmart and make lists of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of items and just put them on eBay and see what happened, right? And so in my case, I didn't earn much money at all drop shipping. Like I earned like a couple $1,000s, right? But dropshipping still completely changed my life. And I learned so much about the different kinds of things that people sell, the different products that people want, every single freaking problem that you can possibly have on Walmart.com, like all of these things, and the ways that you have to be so positive with your buyers, right? And I really encourage those of you listening to try and think a bit outside the box, because you really can use dropshipping as a utility. It doesn't have to be the direct thing that you do that earns you money. There are ways for you to use dropshipping to test ideas, or like in my case, to establish yourself as a YouTuber, right? Like I was able to quit my job and leave despite the fact that I don't dropship and I didn't earn much money when I did dropship. I still have been able to supply people with very relevant dropshipping information and connect people and make myself useful. And that's all through using dropshipping in a non-traditional way. And it's completely possible because, again, with dropshipping, you don't need to be there in person. And that is super powerful. You can do it from anywhere in the world. That flexibility is amazing.
I'm going to just throw in there one thing to getting started. Because people will ask me, do I need 100 listings, 1,000 listings, 10,000 listings? I think that's preventing you from starting. So what I'm going to say is, I'm going to invest 5 hours a week into this, but for at least 90 days. And the reason why I say that is because you don't know until you've done it for a while whether or not this is something that you're interested in doing. But most people are not consistent either. So they'll do it 1 week and then they'll take a month off and they'll do it another week. And there's not enough momentum. You don't know if you like it or not if you do it that inconsistently. So I want to give it more of and more of the way that I'm looking at it is, it's worth it, like you said, Jack, for those extra skills of learning. You can apply that to different parts of your life, because as everything moves more towards automation, I'm going to share with you guys something kind of interesting. My fiance works for a large retail company. They are trying to automate reselling because the most expensive part of retail is the employee that works there, right? So what they're going to try to do is, this is amazing. They put an item onto a device that looks like a trampoline. A robot reaches down, picks up the item, and using image search will try to guess what it is. Okay, it'll guess a title, guess a price, and then a human will just double check multiple items at the same time, like the checking stand at a grocery store, where there's multiple people checking out and they're just making sure no one's stealing. They're trying to do that right now. So it's kind of interesting. Maybe later drop shipping will just be put a whole bunch of items into a machine and it'll list it for you. This is all moving that way. But I think that this concept of learning to list items that are already for sale is such a critical skill for the future of online selling. So that's why I want to invest some time into this. I think it's worth it just for the learning experience. Miguel, do you have any final thoughts for getting beginners on this?
I really invite you, as Kafir mentioned, to your audience to at least allocate some time to learn a bit more about dropshipping, because it is such a great opportunity. I'm sure that most of them already will have heard about it. I was very excited the first time I did, and with just with the idea, I had to give it a go, and I think it's a great opportunity. It's not about just make an extra money. It's really a business model that works for many people and allows any person to work from anywhere. And I'm really happy for some of my the users we have at Hustle Got Real that are sending us pictures from different places in the world. They run their own business. They live anywhere. And this is what inspires us to continue creating and improving the software, because then we get to know people who really are living the life they want, and they don't depend on any time or any place. They just run their business, and our tool is an essential part of it. So, I mean, it's such a nice feeling. You need to give it a try.
Beautiful. So I'm going to actually for the sake of time, since this is a pretty long call, I'm going to include links to how you guys can get a hold of these guys, and also links to their software below. I am going to do a video where I sign up and list on all three sites to get an idea of the difference between the three from a completely noob standpoint, but I'm going to stick with this. I also have a new series where I'm starting from zero because part of me doesn't like to hear that I can't do this because of no money. So I'm really, really curious. What does it take starting with nothing? And there's so many in my audience that's outside of the United States. I feel like this is a cool opportunity. One thing I want to say for the next video, maybe if we guys do, this is like a $10,000 worth of our time call. I can't believe we had 3 founders on the same call. It's very, very expensive. You guys' time is very valuable, so I appreciate it. But just the barrier, I want to just get people just started. You can get started anywhere. And if there are people that are $100,000 in student loan debt that paid it all off with reselling. So they're worse off than zero. So you can definitely start anywhere, even with debt. So I'm super excited. And I agree with the energy in this room that, we can definitely go a lot of places. Jack, any final thoughts before we call it a call?
No, it's just like you guys are saying, like we can help provide the people listening to this video with information. But ultimately, they have access to all the information they need. That's not what really matters. What matters is acting on that information. And there's a really common misconception that you need to work your ass off. You need to work like 10 hours a day to change your life. Honestly, that I don't think that's true. I think that really it starts with doing something every single day that you think makes your future better. Even if you're only doing it for 10 minutes. Like in this case, maybe you sign up for one of these tools and you post one item every day. That's better than thinking about doing it for a year or spending one day where you post all the products and then you get burned out and you never touch it again. It's really important that you identify actionable steps that you, the person listening to this right now, that you think will make your future better. That's the most important part. You have to act upon the information.
I agree. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Take care.